So Joe Biden is president now, president of the United States, and everything is going to turn around. He's going to undo everything Trump did. No, he's not, because here we go with Taiwan and China. U.S. pledges rock-solid commitment to Taiwan's defense after island reports incursion of Chinese bombers and fighter jets. This comes from RT, which is Russian state media. The U.S. has promised to continue aiding Taiwan's self-defense capability after Taiwan reported a flyby involving 13 Chinese military planes. Beijing has been saying the U.S. uses Taiwan to meddle in its domestic affairs. Absolutely. The U.S. urges Beijing to cease its military, diplomatic, and economic pressure against Taiwan and instead engage in meaningful dialogue with Taiwan's democratically elected representatives. We support a peaceful resolution of cross-strait issues. Taiwan is not a country. It's not a country. It is part of China. It is internationally recognized as part of China under the One China policy. Even the United States officially recognizes that, although unofficially, as you can see, and constantly, they undermine the One China policy. And if you want to hear a full explanation, I suggest you watch this video by Nathan Rich. He does an excellent job of breaking down a lot of issues regarding China and Western propaganda against it. And he has this video, Taiwan is not a country, even if you wish really hard. It is excellent, and he goes into great detail about how it is not a country. And after you watch it, you're going to realize there's no dispute over that. Taiwan is part of China, and reunification is inevitable. In many ways, Taiwan is like a larger version of Hong Kong. It's this part of China that the West has kind of grabbed a hold of, and now it has to reluctantly give it back. Taiwan is bigger. The momentum of what the West has done to Taiwan will roll forward into the future for a lot longer than Hong Kong. But as we see, Hong Kong is being reunified with China. The national security law has more or less permanently ended protests there. And now the business of figuring out where Hong Kong actually fits into China can honestly begin. Taiwan will take a little bit longer, but it's inevitable. The economic and political growth of China on the mainland is going to allow it to reunify these areas where these questions have been raised by Western imperialism, ongoing modern-day Western imperialism. I want to point out some things, though, because, the U.S. said China, Beijing needs to, respect the democratically elected government in Taiwan. I want to point out that the government in Taiwan has been interfered in so much by Washington that it's very hard to claim that it's democratically elected. Democracy means self-determination, and you are not self-determined if everything happening in your political landscape is being decided in Washington, D.C. So this is the National Endowment for Democracy. This is the U.S. government's organization that it uses to fund political interference around the globe, and they have been heavily involved in Taiwan. And they're talking about the Taiwan Foundation for Democracy. The NED representatives were there in Taiwan when it was being inaugurated. And the first anniversary commemoration of the Taiwan Foundation for Democracy. And this was a while ago, but they talk about the World Movement for Democracy. This foundation is underneath the World Movement for Democracy, which is an NED front. It's an NED front right here. The World Movement for Democracy, it's an NED front. So all that Taiwan did was just open an NED subsidiary, a franchise in Taiwan. It's kind of like the Henrik Bowles Foundation in Germany. And what they'll do is they'll use German taxpayer money to help contribute to U.S. meddling around the globe. That's what this is doing. That's what the Taiwan Foundation for Democracy in Taipei, that's what it's doing. It's just an extension, a franchise, a subsidiary of the NED. So there's no actual democracy taking place in Taiwan. It's a client regime. It tries to remain in the middle. There are a lot of people in Taiwan that I think would be okay with reunification with China. And as China becomes more prosperous and as it makes less and less sense to continue this belligerence egged on by the US, I think it will be inevitable. I think we will see it sooner than later, actually. But I just wanted to point this out because this is what's going on under US President Joe Biden, the exact same thing that was going on for 4 years under Trump and 8 years under Obama, whose vice president was Joe Biden. So no surprise there. Again, you know, who is behind the NED? It's all these people who come from gigantic corporations, and these are the people who actually run Washington. Washington is not run by elected representatives. Those people are there for window dressing and to rubber stamp policy that comes out of corporate-funded think tanks. So this competition with China is going to continue unabated. It's going to be the Trump trade war plus the Obama-Biden pivot to Asia, and it's just going to continue until, you know, the conditions around the world change to an extent where the US cannot sustain this foreign policy. So to my Patreon patrons who make these videos possible, thank you so much. Please like and share the video if you thought it was useful. Think about subscribing to the channel. It helps it grow. It's totally free to do, and I appreciate that as well. And to everyone everywhere helping in every way, I couldn't do it without that support. So thank you. And as always, thank you for watching.